live because I don't feel like using my laptop because I'm actually using an old laptop currently that has super grainy it's just super grainy. And in fact, when I was in a sign language class, I got marked down for my videos being too like grainy and I needed a clear picture. I do have a newer laptop, but it has decided to crap out on me. With the charging part not really work. So, anyways, I doubt, like, because I have so few people subscribe to me, I doubt, like, anyone will actually be seeing this when I go live. I literally don't know how long live videos stay up. I get subscriptions about, other people I'm subscribed to going live. And I've never actually clicked on a live video. I mean, I just don't know. So, anyways, this semester of college, it is my sophomore year, and I have had a crappy semester, like, it's been crap. And basically it's one class that's causing my semester to be so shit-worthy. And it's my English 2 class. You think, why such a simple class, right? Well, snowflake after snowflake turned into a freaking blizzard, which turned into, this massive snowball that's caused a lot of problems to the point people's administrative people now sit in on my class. But anyways, that detailed story is for another day. The reason I just bring it up is because my English class does pertain to what I'm talking about. I am writing a paper on sexual assault and rape because they are two different things. Focusing in the K through 12 years, and especially the incident to the incident to conclusion of court. Now, not the conclusion of court if it even goes to court, that kind of thing. So it's hard to, there's so many sexual assault cases that don't go all the way to court, so many sexual assault and rape cases, victims and survivors can literally just be like, I'm out. I don't want to pursue this any further. Basically, you can tap out at any point until you start to testify. So, in my case, I took someone to court for raping me. And, side note, just some background, sexual assault and rape are two different things. Sexual assault will always occur when rape occurs, but rape does not occur when just sexual assault occurs. And I will be also talking more about that in a different video. It's just getting all these videos out. I always say I will, and then I don't because I'm an unreliable, stressed out person who's in college full time. So I'll have more time on my hands, though. Let's... The only reason I am, able to do a video today is because I'm on fall break. And I'm just laying at my house. I don't even think my family knows that I'm on fall break. At least definitely not my family, not in Colorado. Anyways, back to the main point. So the title of this is Sexual Assault Healing. And with this paper, I have really found my voice. Like, incredibly so. So the court where I took the person, I pressed charges and took him to court, that was rape. And like I just said, rape and sexual assault always occur together. But what has been happening is I've been reading a book called The Unimaginable Act by Erin Marin, and she has a little sister named Allie who was sexually abused by their cousin Brian. I have an uncle named Brian. Erin Marin had a friend, an older friend, or a friend, just a friend. I don't know if the friend was older, but a friend named Ashley. I have a sister named Ashley, and I have a friend older than me named Ashley. And I have like two friends that are named Ashley that are older than me, and a sister. So, and Erin Marin also has epilepsy. So it's all this like weird real matchups. Anyways, and I have an Uncle Brian who isn't to blame for my sexual assault, but my cousin his son was the first person to sexually assault me. I was 7, and through reading this book, Erin Marin reached out and, wrote to her cousin Brian and was like, you destroyed my family, like I'm finding my voice now. I'm trying to forgive you. Like, you kind of just emotionally wrecked me for years. Kind of told him that she'd like an apology. And I kind of decided to do the same with my cousin, whose name I won't disclose. And anyways, so I wrote, I know he has a Facebook because I'm friends with his mother and his two sisters. So I found him on Facebook and I messaged him and I said, I just wrote this really long message of like, you'll never understand what my sister and I endured, the amount of counseling we went to because of your actions. I can't force you to apologize. I can only tell you, how many times I tried to kill myself and the self-harm I went through, and then the added crap of me getting raped in high school. And I don't know quite why I added the stuff from high school into this message to my cousin, because it was not a 9-year difference from when he sexually assaulted me to when I was raped by a supposed friend at the time. And we talked back and forth, and we're still talking back and forth, and it has been very healing, actually. We talked about my sister. We've talked about his life, what happened with him after he was accused, the losing of the daycare license from his mother, all this stuff. I had all these questions that I didn't even realize were unanswered questions, and so then I just decided I've got to talk to him, like, I've got to, these questions are now on my mind, and so I asked them, and it was amazing that he didn't hold back in any of his answers. He actually even apologized, which I found strange because, like, he talked about, like, how he didn't remember committing any sort of sexual assault towards any of us, but he did talk about, like, the crap that it caused with our families, which I can attest to. It really sucked. I lost, like, half my family. It seemed as though everyone sided with him, at least in my eyes, and our families kept us so separate that I knew nothing about what his life was going on, and so that's where we've kind of been catching up in a sense. And you would think it's weird that I'm just, like, talking to my abuser. Now, it's hard to explain to someone who is outside of the situation. It has just been so many years. I knew that at one point he was on the sex offender list. And he told me later that he had actually passed the evaluation, the lie detector, all this stuff when he was 11, right after this all occurred. And so charges against him were dropped. My sister and I were not the ones to come forward about it. It was someone else. Apparently he handed a porn magazine to someone. One of the boys that went to the daycare, that boy ended up molesting his younger sister. I have an idea as to what individuals it is because I was there at the daycare almost every day just to hang out. And I believe there was only one older boy, younger sister type dynamic within the daycare. Anyways, so I'm pretty sure I know who these two individuals are, and I'm actually friends with one of them on Facebook. So that's kind of weird, like, finding that out, but, you know, not having it confirmed. I don't really want him to confirm it. I don't really want to know. That's just a place I do not want to go. Anyways, as for it being healing, I've gotten to talk to him about what he went through. He went through counseling, and it very much confused him. And he was being just told that he was, like, this awful person, this child molester, who was never going to amount to anything by a therapist, which is so out of line from any therapist. And eventually this therapist did lose their license, and my cousin was able to get out of seeing that therapist. I don't know how. He just said that, like, at one point he just stopped going. They didn't make him go anymore. And then he talked about how he did end up going to prison for drugs and alcohol, but, like, when his parents found out that he was abusing drugs, like, not marijuana, but, like, actual full-on illegal in every state in the U.S. were the ones that he was abusing. His felony will never go away, because apparently that's just how they do it in the state that he lives in, because I live in a different one. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just So it's been very strange to have him, like, tell me all this. He even gave me, like, his, like, I guess you could call it a docket number. And you can look him up at, like, con something. It's a .org site where basically you can have, like, the name of the person or, like, a number. And so it was interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. So I got curious, I looked it up, and, you know, everything he said about him finishing up his parole, his time in prison, like, it all matched up with what he said. Like, he gave me this information, which I thought was kind of cool, but kind of strange. And then there was, like, 3 years where he was, like, first accused of the crime, like, first taken in. And then the sentence being pronounced was nearly a 3-year gap, which is super long for, like, any state, even if their court system is backed up. Oh, oopsies. Sorry about that. I was holding my phone in the lower left-hand corner, and so it flipped it around, and ooh, there's my dresser. Big frippity whoop. So he knows about my paper that I'm writing. I told him off the bat, like, about that in the first message I even sent to him. And, you know, he said he was, like, willing to help me in any way. Turns out, so get this, someone who had previously been on the sex offender list, because he did have to register at one point, and I can't remember all of the messages. So, anyways, he did have to register, but I think it was at a different time than when he got accused of, like, when he took a plea deal for the drugs and the alcohol. And he was kicked out actually at 17 due to the drugs. And he lived somewhere else in the state that he lives in. I'm not disclosing name or location because that's just, there's human decency. Through all of this talking with him, like, I'm holding less bad blood for him, like, to the point if I was ever in the city that he lives in, my dad and him live in the same city, I would go and meet my second cousins, because he has 3. He gave up 1 for adoption, so he has 2, and he has, like, full custody, according to the Facebook messages, and then another one on the way. But I guess he's still trying to work out custody stuff, and I didn't quite ask about that because it was, like, weird to start talking about our lives in detail, but we've started doing so. It's very strange. Anyways, so lost my train of thought. So someone who is on the sexual offenders list, and someone who is formerly in prison, someone who has a felony on their record for the rest of their life, is a life coach for sexual assault. And when he told me that, I was like, oh God, I could have said a lot of mean thing, and I didn't. I more just was like, someone formerly in prison with a felony on their record, a sexual assault life coach. And then he talked about how he helps with some program. And it was strange to hear that. And I didn't really want to question it, but here's the thing. He does say that, he did say that he could be missing parts of his childhood. There is a defense mechanism for doing that. Psychologically, there's a defense mechanism out there. And it's... So, like, I will believe him in that. He might have repressed it. I repressed my rape for years because it was by friend, and it was like, friend doesn't do that, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was like, I got home after, you know, I was raped in high school, and I was like, you know what, I'm fine. Like, it's not that big a deal. Sorry, as I just, this stupid, like, nose ring. You know, I didn't think much of it. I didn't want to believe what it was. I wanted to think that there was more than him just wanting to get in my pants. And this is not talking about my cousin. This is talking about the guy I took to court. And he, so I still wanted this guy to like me, and I reached out to him on Facebook as well, and saying, you know, I told him, like, I'm trying to forgive. Like, I'm trying to forgive you because I can't have this anger and this, you know, this hatred, like, eat me alive for the rest of my life. And while I don't think about it every day, I have been thinking about it quite a bit, and, you know, I need to forgive so that I'm not this old, bitter person someday. And I really, like, told him I just wanted to hear his side of things, because that's all I wanted from my cousin, and my cousin's done that for me, and that's really cool. And, well, my cousin said that he doesn't remember anything in a shed. I can promise you that I do. Like, that's not all up in here. I'm not making or creating stories. I promise you that's, like, something that happened. My cousin doesn't remember it. I don't really want to go into the details quite yet. I won't be going into the details in my paper for English because I'm not allowed to write from the first person. So if I decide to include my cousin in the paper, I have to write it from an objective view. I can't let it be known that I know this person, etc. And I'll be writing from experience. I just can't write from the first person. Now then I get in trouble for not citing, but, like, I literally don't care. This teacher has been such an a-hole that I don't care. I mean, I do have a lot of cited sources. I will have a lot of cited sources when I finish it, but it's, so this paper is interesting, but I would say that talking to my cousin has been super healing. And I let him know that, like, I never accused him of rape. I accused him of sexual assault, and, like, rightfully so. You don't just, like, take your parts out and, you know, do anything unwillingly to another human, without that being a sexual assault. You don't expose yourself in any way. And there's a lot more to it, but that's the pretty part of it. That's the nice sugar-coated version. It was like, I was trying to jog his memory a little bit when I first started talking to him, but now I've kind of been like, you know, like, what was your court experience like? And that's kind of how I found out about the plea deal, and his court experience came actually from going to prison for the drugs and the alcohol, not from any sexual assault. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm totally... He went to prison for something he rightfully admits to. He passed a lie detector test back at when he was 11 when it occurred. I didn't realize he was like 4.5 years older than I am, I think, roughly. But yeah, it's been strangely healing to talk to him. And I didn't think it would. I thought that he would just ignore my second message to him, because I messaged him and I was like, hey, I have a couple of questions for you. Would you be willing to answer them? And he replied that he would. He was like, yeah, sure. So I started off my second message to him like, you're not gonna like it. And then I went into this whole rant. I could have been a whole lot bitchier. I could have been a lot ruder, but, you know, I am at a place where I want to forgive. I mean, we'll never truly forget anything bad that happens to us, but we can try to forgive, and that was part of my first message, I believe. I was like, I hope forgiveness towards you is somewhere down the line for me. I told him that I was presenting in my English class and that I planned to be up there, not a timid little girl in a shed, getting sexually assaulted by a cousin, or getting raped in a high school dugout, but rather like a grown woman who's a survivor, and a warrior, and the voice for others. So, and my newest tattoo on my right arm actually says, I'm only one voice in a million, but you ain't taking that from me. And that's kind of only like one part of why I have it, is the sexual assault and the rape that I've survived. That I've somehow survived. So, yeah. I truly do believe that the more I talk about it, the more healing I will be, the more I'll find my voice. I don't care how uncomfortable the topic makes people. Like, I really don't. I don't care. I do not care. It's something that our society needs to start being comfortable to talk about, which is why Erin's Law was passed in like 31 states, pending in 11, and then she's still going after it in all the other states. Because that's only 42 states. Yeah. Passed in 31, pending in 11. So she's 41 states down, practically. So, woohoo, Erin Marin. I am rooting for you. So, Erin's Law is really, really cool. I might talk about it more in another video. I might just do a different live on it. And anyways, so talking about it, like, it's been a way to not let it have power over me. It has yet to be seen whether or not I will, actually, you know, be able to accomplish, or to finish my presentation without like totally breaking down. I come hell or high water, I will be presenting on this topic, and I will be writing about this topic, and I don't care how much it makes a male teacher uncomfortable, because the more uncomfortable I can make someone, the more it's going to stick with them, in my opinion, and the more they will have to accept it. So I think that's it for now. I will definitely go on to talk about this in other videos as well. I don't have very many videos out currently. A lot of them are sign language related. And I don't know. Okay, here's the sign for this video. So you do like, ABCs. This is R. And so you're thinking. And so reason. So it pulls away reason. So I guess word for this video. Anyways, have a great day. Comment, subscribe, like. If you are a survivor of sexual assault, then, comment that if you're willing to. We can hide behind the keys of a message board, which is great. On YouTube to a point, my username is not Speaks is not my last name, and Allie is not my first legal name. So I even hide kind of a little bit of my personal identity for my own reasons. Like, I don't know, I just don't want people knowing everything about me. Anyways, have a good day, and I hope that anyone who's trying to change from the victim to the survivor, if you are watching this, I hope that things are going well, and that if you're finding videos like this, if you're searching sexual assault healing, I hope that this pops up, and I hope you can listen to the entirety, because I know it's very long. So I hope that for anyone out there, this has helped you. And if it hasn't, then whatever, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. But I hope this will help people start to think about forgiveness towards anyone who abused them. So the incident with my cousin is over, it's over a decade ago. Yeah, it's over a decade ago. It's a decade and a couple of years. So, I think it's like about 14 years, 13 years. Anyways, so 13 years versus like court ending a year and a half ago with the other person. It's that time for healing, like licking your own wounds and stitching them back up to turn into the survivor. But I still consider myself a survivor. I mean, I endured court and cross-examination, and I still lost the case. So it was interesting. And so maybe I will release bits and pieces of my story as time goes on. Anyways, have a good rest of your day. This has been a really long video. And if you're watching, comment. Let me know you're here. Bye.